My name's Adam. Welcome to Coger's Customs. Today we're going to be tackling an np205C out of a Chevrolet. This is same process. It's going to go whether it's a Ford or a Dodge, whether it has a fixed yoke or a slip yoke. It's going to be the same process. So today what we've got is a kit from Offroad Design to convert the mechanical cable speedometer to electronic. If you're doing an LS swap, for whatever reason, if you're putting an electronic transmission in your vehicle, the cable's not going to tell your PCM when your transmission should shift. This is a great option. The guys over at Offroad Design did an awesome job. They machined this down, cap off where your speedometer cable would go in here, drill and tap the hole exactly where it needs to be, so you don't have to worry about, there's a couple guys that have done it themselves that grind it down and tap it, but man, instead of going through the hassle of worrying whether this thing is offset or whatever, Offroad Design has it figured out. They've done it numerous times. It's a great kit. What the kit comes with, it's a service, so you would send your old housing in, we paid a little extra, and they just had one, machined it down for us. Sit in. The kit's going to come with both gaskets for both housings, the pigtail that you would need to go to that VSS if your vehicle doesn't have the correct plug, new VSS with an O-ring. It's going to seal off really well. A plug, that way you can plug off your VSS if you decide to ever go back to a manual transmission or whatever. You'll still be able to put your cable mechanical speedometer back together. We have a 5 horsepower Offroad Design sticker and a 10 horsepower Offroad Design sticker. So we're going to get started. I believe I have the tools that we're going to need to get this knocked out. Most of these are going to be 1 1/8 here, but this particular one is 1 5/16. I don't have 1 5/16 that's going to fit in there, but I have a 34 millimeter. It'll be close enough. We also need to take out the mechanical speedometer drive here. It will allow us to get to a bolt stuck behind it, so we ain't going to pull it out with a wrench. Alrighty. Both of those parts are out. We won't be needing that. Let's pull the yoke off of here. Like I said, I'm using a 34 millimeter. That wasn't loud at all. Put that over to the side. We'll be needing to reuse that. Alright. And all these perimeter bolts are going to be 9/16. And make sure you drain this thing before you start tearing this apart. To be honest with you, I didn't. And I tried doing this video about 2 hours ago. And I was more than surprised by how much fluid was still in the case. It covered everything. My favorite David Freiberger shirt got completely drenched on the front with transmission fluid. So this time I did drain it. Alright, let's see if we can tap some of this stuff apart. There's one. I'm going to clean that dude up. Snap ring out of there. Try to pick. Didn't even have to. Isn't that lovely? We just need to tap her in. Or in this case, tap her out. Oh yeah, we're cooking with Crisco now. Alrighty. Definitely don't want to lose any of those needle bearings. This is the piece that we'll be swapping out. It goes from a worm drive to a magnetic sensor that reads on resistance. So, here we go. Now this dude is going to not work. Alright, we're back. I created a huge mess earlier. The output shaft ended up being the wrong one. So this one has a smooth collar right here, where this goes on and gets pinched in between the two. Our other one here has splines. Luckily, had another np205 transfer case. Being a hoarder doesn't pay off too often, but we got her swapped. The one difficult thing, when you have to pull this output shaft completely out of here, set of needle bearings that sit right down inside of here, they fall out. You got to put grease on them, stick them in there one by one, and pray that they don't come falling back out. So that's it. All those are in there. New shaft is ready to go. Our collar locks onto these splines just like it's supposed to. That's good to go. We're going to get this cleaned up. Here's the old housing. There's another set of needle bearings that go in right here. When you get the housing from Offroad Design, they want you to press the bearing out of your old one before you send it to them, and then press it back in. So we have taken the one out of the old housing. It's pressed into the new housing. We'll get this out of our way. We're ready to get this one cleaned up. We'll get the output shaft stuck back in there, and we'll be able to reassemble the rest of the back of this. Here we go. Our new housing has already been cleaned up. They send the thing ready to bolt on. And this thing is going to get completely flushed out after it gets put back together. I'll go ahead and get this slid out of there. We're ready to go. First things first, get this in here. Please, Lord, let these needle bearings stay. Praise God. Alrighty, next thing is going to be this housing. Same thing here, like I said, this bearing had to be pressed out. You can press it in or out either side. I pressed it out from this side because it's simpler, and I pressed it back in from the outside as well. Needle bearing stayed in place. Now we just got to do it again because we didn't put the gasket on there. I like to use a little bit of grease on paper gaskets. Just my preference. Some people silicone it, some people put them on dry. I just feel like the paper seals off a little bit better if it has something to kind of tack it up. So this is what I like to do. You put it on dry, I'm sure it'll work just fine. I figure one side is fine once it soaks into the paper. You know, it's going to seal off both sides. I'm sure it's still off fine without any of it at all, but just what I like to do. All right, let's line this dude up. So it's going to go just like that. It also helps hold it in place. Having the grease on there. Slide the housing on, hopefully for the last time. I don't have it shoved completely up against there. I'll leave plenty of room, that way if I gotta wiggle it. She is started. Get all these bolts started, then we'll go ahead and run her in. Now what I'm going to do on this tone ring, I'm going to go to set the tone ring in there. If you can see, it's got a lip on this other side. So I'm going to put it in and see which way lines up best with the center of the hole that the speed sensor is going to be going in. And these bolts, they're the same bolts, whether it goes here or goes there. Same bolts, same locking washers on there. All right, so that's on. And it's a machine fit where this thing slides inside of the case right there. So when we tighten it down, we want to be mindful. We don't want to tighten one side down and snap a bolt off in this case. It is cast. So we're just going to go back and forth and you'll see it slide off in there. Already locked in on that side. Wham bam. 5 Lugaducas. That's torque spec in my book. Again, just going opposite sides. Good to go. We're going to slide this in there. I'm going to put it in. By looking at the splines, it looks like the bevel side needs to go on the back side in order to bring it far enough out. So I'm going to try that first. See if we can get it on the first stab here. And she is lined up. It is dead centered with this hole. Again, Offroad Design does a great job. They know what they're doing to machine this thing down to be able to center this speed sensor. So we got that in there. Before I put this cap on here, just to make sure we're not going to have any kind of interference, I'm going to go ahead and screw the VSS in. I'll be able to see clearance between the tone ring and the end of the sensor, just to make sure there's not going to be any issues. In case you're wondering, I'm not sure what size this is, but we have a good amount of clearance. It's not going to hit. Looks like it should work fine. And probably a 1 inch. The 1 1/8 is a little too big. I don't think I got a 1 inch sitting right here. Yep. It's a 1 inch. Now you know. So if you want to use a socket instead of a crescent wrench, go for it. Same thing here. We're going to throw a little grease. That's probably a little much, but wipe a little grease on here. Get it all smoothed around and even. Don't need a whole lot. It's going to go squeezing out the edges anyways, as you can tell from up here. Same thing on the cast side. And if you want to decide to tackle and try grinding in to keep from spending the money for the machine work and stuff on this kit, it's, I think on Offroad Design's website, it's like $225. In my opinion, the peace of mind you have from knowing that it's machined in the right spot. There's some things that I would like to tackle and, you know, weld, drill, machine myself. This just isn't one of those things. It's a buddy's truck, or it's a truck that we're putting together for his wife. And so if it was one of mine, I might try to machine it down and tackle it, but it's not going to be me driving it. If there's some problem later on, I know that I'll put this on there. It's a proven kit and a great company. I have more of their parts on another truck that I've got out there. They're big in the off-road community, whether you're doing rock crawling or just trail rig or overland. They have a bunch of great parts, 4 links, you know, even if you're bagging some stuff, you know, if you want to lower it, whatever. Dave over at the Dirthead Shed, he's got an awesome page. He bags his stuff with 4 link and trail rig. So, you know, either way. I'm not going to snug these down all the way. I'm just going to run them down so they're about touching. And we've got a, see, it still moves around. We've got a good seal on there now. We're going to slide this dude back in there. Just to make sure this kind of centers this housing. It does have a little bit of play. I'm sure it would be fine anyways, but better to be safe than sorry. Again, we're going to skip sides just so it gets more of an even load on it. Now, boom, washer's still sitting in the yoke. Get our nut back up here. All right, we're going to call that started. Find my socket. There we go. Bam, bam. She's together. Y'all keep up with it. I'm gonna be doing more videos on this K5. It's a 72 model CST. Like I said, my buddy and I are putting it together for his wife. She's always wanted one, this, that, and the other. We're about to be doing the top. Got a few things with the steering and a few more little things that we're going to be tackling on it. So just keep an eye out for another video. Appreciate y'all for watching.